William Ruto faces rejection once again. I'm saying this because I think he was most surprised when it comes to being rejected in the mountain. You have to all remember that the mountain is the one that gave William Ruto the presidency. They voted almost 80+%. And actually Mount Kenya East as well, particularly the side of Embu, Taraka, they did very well as far as voting for William Ruto is concerned. But in Embu, things were not the same again. This week, which is just ending today, William Ruto has been having issues with the Catholic Church. The Catholic Church bishops accused him, not just accused him, pointed out some of the mistakes and weaknesses from William Ruto's government. And some of these things they pointed out, William Ruto has to know that they didn't just emanate from the church leaders. They came from even the congregants of that church. So therefore, the bishops were speaking on what the people on the ground were experiencing. And that is what William Ruto assumed. William Ruto went to Embu. Actually, before he even went to Embu, he had gone to Tangaza University, which is also led by the Catholic Church. And he thought maybe from that kind of an event, he was going to create some rapport so that whenever he comes to Embu, he's going to be received well. Let us also not forget that William Ruto had given some utterances accusing, even attacking the church indirectly. The church leaders, the bishops of the Catholic. So the Tangaza event made it a bit like a platform for him to attack and create some perception. Going to Embu, he expected that he would drive the masses toward his support. Being the president of the town of Kenya, probably now once he's there, he's going to take over that region. But William Ruto was surprised with what he met on the ground. That is going to form the basis of this analysis here today. But before I do so, kindly, if this is the first time you're watching our videos, please make sure that you subscribe, like, and comment, because that is the best support you can always give this channel. William Ruto started by trying to associate himself with Uhuru Kenyatta. You remember he spoke just after Uhuru Kenyatta had spoken. So he tried to associate himself to gain the ground support, to remind them that Uhuru Kenyatta is the one who handed him over the power. But that did not work on his support. William Ruto went ahead to try and capture the attention of the church by being humorous and also by trying to show that he's part of the church members. But still, the ground did not work for him. Let me remind you of a brief incident here. When the Gen Zs and millennials went to the streets to protest against the finance bill 2024 and in general William Ruto's governance, William Ruto assumed that what the Gen Zs or the youth of this country were calling for were just from the youth, and that it was not the same case on the ground. And one of the things that most of the Kenyans assume is that the ground is not aware of who William Ruto is. But from Embu's event, when William Ruto was giving the speech, it was very clear that this issue of Kenya, this issue of poor governance from his government, is well understood and known by the people at the grassroots. Why am I saying so? Despite William Ruto giving Mount Kenya East a deputy presidency, still the Mount Kenya East had the courage to boo him, to shout at him, to reject him in front of the deputy president. To make matters more worse, in front of former President Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta. Despite William Ruto branding himself always as part of the church, as a president who believes in God, church-going president, a president married to a prophetess, a man who every Sunday goes to church, still the ground had the guts to reject him. Despite William Ruto promising to visit the hospital after he had finished giving the speech, despite promising that he's going to come back in January to launch huge projects in the mountain, particularly in Embu itself, the ground still had the guts to reject William Ruto. What we have to accept here is that from the Embu indication, being Mount Kenya, being the area that was supposed to receive William Ruto the best, more than any other part of this country because of the gift of Kithure Kindiki being the deputy president. The fact is that William Ruto, the ground has rejected him completely. And if elections were held today, William Ruto could go home very early in the morning. There are so many lessons that Embu gave us. But today here, just in this video, I just want to talk about the William Ruto speech. And I'm going to do other subsequent videos basically on what are the big lessons that we learned from there. Because the Embu event was different. It was different in the case that this was a church where William Ruto has always received ululation, sympathy from the church members and the congregation, where William Ruto has always received huge support. But now, it was different for him. People could be asking, what were the reasons as to why William Ruto received such a kind of a big rejection in Mount Kenya? Number one is the Chief and SHA. Chief and SHA issues. We've had Kenyans that have gone to hospitals, rejected from the hospitals because they didn't have money and then went back home with their diseases. What is this grandmother thinking about William Ruto? We have Kenyans who have died from Chief and SHA, preventing them from getting treated. What are those Kenyans thinking about William Ruto? We've had Kenyans who usually go to hospital for dialysis, but they have gone and turned away from the hospital despite paying for the NHI fully. What are those Kenyans thinking about William Ruto? So in a nutshell, health was one of the things that made William Ruto to be shouted at by the congregation in the church, not outside there, in the church. And I'm telling you, in the churches where William Ruto has always received immense support. But this time around, it was different. Another thing is Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta's presence. Everyone knows that Uhuru Kenyatta stole the show. That was his moment. Uhuru Kenyatta, the perception about Uhuru Kenyatta has changed from what William Ruto sold to them in 2022. Right now, it has risen and it's above there. And William Ruto has to accept Uhuru Kenyatta has taken over the mountain region. I'm talking about of Embu, not Kikuyu West, Mount Kenya West. So it is very clear that Uhuru Kenyatta stole the show. And of course, Uhuru Kenyatta influence was well felt on the ground. Where William Ruto, whatever he was saying, it was not making sense to these people. Another thing, it is Rigathi Gachagwa's presence. Yes, they brought the DP from that region. But the fact remains, they also impeached one of the people from that region. So the treatment of Rigathi Gachagua was not well received on the ground. And actually, I don't think Kithure Kindiki is going to rescue William Ruto. I don't think so. We have to also accept on this platform that guy who was ordained as a bishop, Kimani or Kamau or something of that kind, forgotten the name slightly, he is a very close friend of Uhuru Kenyatta. And that means Embu County Catholic Church, Uhuru being part of it, that was his territory. William Ruto amekataliwa. That is the message that was received from Embu County. I don't know what is your take. Let me kindly see on the comment section on what you guys are saying, because that's the best way you can always engage me after watching this video. My name is Abel Mukwa. Keep watching, keep following, and please make sure that you subscribe. For those who've been supporting me, now we're heading to 3,000 subscribers. Please keep doing so, because that is really immense, and that's what can help me grow. See you next time for more videos.